Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Freedom Hour. I am so excited to be joining you today. My name is Shantia Lewis, and I am the host of the Freedom Hour, and I am joined today by the amazing, the incomparable Marika King Ortiz, Mrs. Marika King Ortiz.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so today we are going to get into some real stuff, y'all. So, y'all saw the title, Managing Stress While Forgiving. So we're gonna get into something heavy, something deep over this lunch hour. I hope you're ready. But if you actually tune in and really get the information, it's going to be transformative. It's gonna make you think, and it's going to make you say, "Okay, I need to do a reevaluation." So we're talking about forgiveness today. Y'all ready? So I know, okay, we got to take a step back because I know everybody's like, wait, what? What's going on? What's happening? So it's no secret, right? That last year was challenging. Last year was super challenging for me. It was very interesting to me, and I'm going to use the word interesting instead of something else because it was a strategic planned attack against me that literally was, if you sat back and just thought about it, was like, really? It was so unbelievable to me. So it just, it really just kind of threw me a little bit. So to hear the truth being twisted, to hear lies spread for personal gain and ratings, it kind of like took me back, right? And so it created a stress level that I never, ever encountered before.
Yeah.
And so that, coming in, I could have gone one way, or I could have gone one or two ways, right? I could have died and stayed in it, right?
Yeah.
Like I could have laid down and just said, it's a wrap, it's over. Or I could process and get up and say, you know what? We gonna see what this was for and learn the lesson. And so in order to do that, I had to figure out how to process. And as I am, okay, we minorities, right?
Yeah.
We Black, and even the other minorities typically don't do therapy.
Typically not, you're right.
And we saved, so we typically don't do therapy.
It's another layer to
that. It's another layer because folks who.
I'm just checking to see if I'm in the room.
Oh, hey, yes. I got to figure out how to mute that, but never mind. So mute yourself. We're here. So when you're saved, it's Jesus, and it's taboo to talk about therapy.
Yeah.
And we know that we need to have an understanding in order to know what to pray for.
Absolutely.
What to do and how to combat a particular thing. You have to have the knowledge and the understanding. And so for me, it was like, okay, I've never done this before. To this degree. And so I feel like now I'm a subject matter expert.
Okay.
Talking about stress, managing stress
Okay.
while forgiving.
Yeah.
So in order to process, because I chose not to lay down and die,
Come on.
I chose to get up and to learn the lesson
Mm-hmm.
and understand what God was doing in that situation. Because let's be clear,
Yeah.
nothing happens unless God approves it.
Unless he approves it.
And just like Joseph, it was for a bigger purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to seek out therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I had to literally understand what it was, how I was processing it,
Mm-hmm.
and what we do from here.
Yeah.
So people are like, okay, I'm not forgiven. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that forgiveness is not for the other people.
No,
It's for you.
It's for you. Your peace of mind.
It's for our people. And see, here's the thing. We go through all sorts of stress and we hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then our body starts to respond and react in a negative way.
Yeah, it starts to talk back to you.
It talks back to us in a negative way because we are holding on to something that's foreign that is not supposed to be in our body. Yeah. So our stress level goes up. Our mental health is all over the place, and we have higher blood pressure. Our immune system starts to break down. Yes. So you wonder why you're getting sick all the time. You wonder why you can't sleep, and your mind is just going. So from a therapist's perspective, talk about this, because I really want to be transparent and talk about my process.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the process, because we want to help the people.
Yes.
I feel like I'm a subject matter expert now, so I want to share the process with the people. So come on, Madam Therapist. How are we processing this? What does this do for our mind?
Well, you started off really good with the different points of how someone's life can be impacted by stress. You know, our body starts to talk back to us when we have overlooked the different warning signs, the red flags that have taken place in our lives, where it's like, hey, like, I need you to pause. I need you to stop, you know, and it could be the littlest things, like feeling irritable, lack of patience, overthinking, intrusive thoughts, just little small practical things that happen throughout the day that we may not be alert and aware of. And then all of a sudden it starts to build up. And then while it's building up, like you said, our body, our immune system is breaking down. Yeah. And in turn, that's when our body starts speaking to us. Our appetite may leave, you know, loss of sleep deprivation, you know, things of those sorts. So the process, like you were just speaking to, is literally first just acknowledging where you're at, because you can identify where you desire to be. You can say, oh yeah, I want to be healed. I want to be addressed these different things. Yeah, that's a big general statement. So you have to be very intentional and very specific as to where you are at in that process.
Yeah. So we have to identify where we are in that process. That was really good, because not knowing. So what we'll do is we'll feel stuck.
Stagnation.
And we'll say, I don't know what's going on. I feel stuck, and I don't really understand what's going on in my body and in my mind. And so having to forgive is something foreign to all of us, because naturally, right, we'll say, I ain't forgiven. They did this on purpose. They did this to kill me. They did this to hurt me. I didn't give permission. I did not give permission for that. Yeah. And so it is something that we hold on to, because that's how we're able to control the situation.
Absolutely.
And then having the ability to say, I forgive you, is a heavy, heavy, heavy thing. It's a heavy thing, but it's necessary. Yes. Because when we don't forgive, we are not only holding ourselves hostage, we are literally hostage by our emotions and our feelings, because we're replaying it in our minds over and over and over. But what we do is we willingly put ourselves in a cage.
We do. And you know, one thing that just dropped in my spirit is when we're holding on to unforgiveness is a toxin. It's a toxin when it comes to our spiritual life. It is a toxin when it comes to our mental and emotional health, and ultimately our body.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's so good. We got to let that breathe. So we are holding on to toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. So this is why we're wondering why our entire, right? Our mind, our bodies, and our spirits have broken down and then is like going all out of whack because we refuse to forgive.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a powerful tool. It is not what they did that is why we don't.
Exactly.
It is in spite of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to make the conscious decision to forgive.
Yeah.
Literally letting go. So I'm going to give you this definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness means to cease to feel resentment against,
Mm-hmm.
to grant relief from payment, to pardon. So what we do is we'll say they did that, so they owe me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You owe me because I didn't give you permission.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this to hit me.
Yeah.
But now you owe me. So I'm holding on to this. But what we're doing is holding on to toxins, to poison.
Yep.
We're holding on to it because that's what we can control.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to release it and forgive so that we can be free. Because what it does is it holds us back from what God had planned for us.
Absolutely.
It holds us back from seeing our full potential and manifesting our next.
You know, I hosted a healing gathering a couple years ago, and I actually touched on this particular topic, and I shared it. Literally just dropped in my spirit during the gathering that there were some believers who went on before their time because they would not forgive.
My God.
Therefore, they did not see the manifestation of their purpose, of their destiny, and they went, on to be with the Father.
My God.
Still with purpose in them.
My God.
And so that's how detrimental not forgiving someone can be, because it can literally put a block, boom, in the way from you fully going into your highest potential, living out your purpose and all those different things. And so, like you said, don't allow yourself to be encaged in by unforgiveness, because ultimately, God is waiting on us to release it to him so he can deposit more and greater things in us. And also it's perspective, right?
Oh yeah.
It's perspective, because in the midst of that, you're being refined. He's depositing strategies on the inside of you.
Come on.
Okay, this thing may have knocked you off in the beginning, but trust and believe, if you try to come back around, because I have given you greater and stronger arsenal now in the spirit. Now it may come, it may ruffle your feather, but it won't move you.
Ooh, that's so good. That's so good. The situation comes to stretch you.
Yeah.
To show you the capacity that you have on the inside of you.
Yes.
To show you your weak areas and your strong areas. Because, we'll say, I'm not strong enough for that.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think I can handle that. I don't think I can manage that. My aunt just passed, right? And she said, I can't take this. I'm not strong enough for this. Like the pain, right? The pain. I'm not strong enough for the pain. But ma'am, you lived with the pain for 20 years.
Wow.
Functioning through it all. Because it's not until we get hit with something and that we have to deal with the pain that we realize just how powerful we are.
Just how powerful.
Come on, that was a nugget right there.
That was.
You are more powerful than you think you are. So the enemy tries to, and our haters and all of those people that try to come up against you, they're trying to hit you because one, they don't like you, but it's not them, it's the spirit behind it.
Absolutely, operating.
It is operating because they know the potential. The spirit knows the potential that you have on the inside of you, even if you don't.
See, you talking right now. You talking, because I had a clubhouse like a week ago, and I do like strategic prayer conversations around different aspects of being a believer. And so in the midst of one of my clubhouse meetings, I literally started to hear the Lord talk about perspective, and also how when stuff start shaking up, transition, and all these different movements start taking place, It is a preparation for promotion.
Come on.
You are about to be promoted, so shift your perspective. Yeah, that happened to you, but don't sit there.
Mhm.
Let your emotions process. Don't hold them emotions,
Mhm.
but process them, give them to God, and keep it moving, because your breakthrough,
Mhm.
your next is right here. And so step right into that and leave the rest of them toxins alone.
Leave it alone.
It's just like our digestive system. We can't hold on to toxins. It has to be digested and processed, right?
Mhm.
So why is it in our minds? Why do we think we can hold it in our minds and in our emotions? What do we think it's doing? Right?
Killing us.
Killing us. Exactly.
Oh,
stress is the number one killer.
Mhm.
Ultimately.
Mhm. Listen, this is okay. So we're gonna talk about process real quick.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give you, because we want to leave you with a nugget, right? We want to talk about how.
Mhm.
It's the how.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we have to be mindful of, it's the things that, so the situation comes to hit us, right?
Absolutely.
And it's how we internalize that thing.
Mhm.
It has to get through our defense mechanisms, right? Our senses.
Mhm. Filtering.
It's got to filter through.
Mhm.
So we think about, we see it, we feel it, we encounter it, right?
Mhm.
And then it hits our mind. So now we're starting to replay it,
Mhm.
replay it, replay it, replay it over and over and over. And then it ultimately gets into our hearts.
Yeah.
So then it's something that is, now it's grown bitter, we're
Mhm.
angry, we're frustrated, we're stressed.
Mhm.
And now internally we're feeling all of this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So here's the thing. It's what we're thinking that now governs our entire way of being.
Yeah.
Our actions and everything. So how we manifest on the exterior. So now we show up to places and we're angry.
Mhm.
We show up to places and we like, we show up to places, we're indifferent, we're bitter, we're frustrated, we're yelling at the kids, we're going off on people. It's misdirected.
Mhm.
And then we are all because we didn't process.
Yeah, so what you're speaking about, and I speak to this oftentimes, is you're talking about trauma lenses. So now that's the way you show up in life, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly to you. Others can see it, they can sense it, they can feel it. So it could be with your family members, your friends, it could be with those that's just around you. If you have not addressed or processed that unforgiveness, then yeah, you have a chip on your shoulder. And it shows.
And it shows. So now we're saying, ain't nothing wrong. I'm all right. I'm good. I'm good. That is our standard, right? I had to understand, because people would ask me, how you doing? I'm good. I'm fine. That was my natural, we're never honest, but not trying to be deceitful. It's just, people don't want to hear all that.
Yeah.
People don't have time to hear, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, nobody has the capacity to take on everything, right? So I had to learn that my knee-jerk response wasn't authentic.
That's good.
So we have to show up authentically. We're talking about processing the forgiveness, right? While managing stress. When I started to say, I'm processing, or I had to tell people I'm starting to process now, right? I'm processing. When I made the shift from I'm fine, I'm good, everything's fine, I'm processing, to I'm processing, then my internal started to say, okay.
Yeah, like a calm.
I started to say, okay, now I truly can tell people I'm processing. And the days where I wasn't feeling good, I would say, I'm okay today. I'm working through it. And then that gave people the ability to know how to show up for me.
That's good, because at that point, by you just saying those practical statements, you set expectation. Yep. Based off how we communicate where we're at, we are communicating our expectation for ourselves and how we expect others to interact with us.
That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. I hope y'all catching what she and I are putting down, because literally I'm going to give you what I had to go through. I'm going to give you how I managed, right? So I had to first be authentic to myself. And now there were a lot of days where the peace that surpassed all understanding, right? Because it felt like, I'll be honest and transparent. It felt like there was a force field around my heart, so that it would not penetrate and rewrite the contents of my heart.
That's good. Wow.
God's protection.
Yeah.
But I had to stay connected to the vine. I had to stay connected to the vine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have lost my mind,
Yeah.
right? So the way this works, the heart and the head are connected. So what you're thinking is what's going to ultimately go on your heart.
Absolutely.
And so if you're thinking negative all the time, then that is now drawn on your heart.
Yeah.
So then you keep seeing the flashes because the heart sees, right? Right? We're talking Bible, okay? The heart sees, right? So the head speaks, it thinks, the mouth speaks, and the heart sees. And so if we are constantly thinking these negative thoughts and these things of what they did, how it hit me, how they approached me, how it happened to me, it could be from childhood on now, right? Whatever the situation may be, it hit me in a certain way. And so now I'm thinking about it. So now I have to rewrite the tables of my heart by reframing how I'm thinking about the situation.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. So yeah, I'm just thinking through just like working in the mental health field as a licensed therapist, and even just like my own personal life as well. You know, there's definitely been times and seasons where it was like everything that could go wrong,
oh my God,
was going wrong. It seemed like everything got flipped over.
Everything.
But like you said, when you're holding on to the vine, when you're holding on to your relationship with God, chaos can be going on around you, but there's such a calmness in your spirit that sustains you. And that's the hand of God.
That, listen, nothing but. So this is why I say Jesus and therapy, because therapy will help you to understand what cycle you're in, what you're dealing with. So we poo-poo and it's taboo to talk about therapy, but we need it.
Absolutely.
It's necessary. And even when you're saved, you need therapy.
Come on.
Because you will keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over.
You know, I often speak to individuals. It's like God created doctors. He gave them the wisdom, the knowledge to understand the anatomy of the human body, right? Just like for psychologists or therapists, psychiatrists, those in the mental health field, because it's still health, you know, he's given us an ability, a skill, a level of knowledge in order to break down the clinical to a practical state to where it's attainable and it's applicable in someone else's life.
So we have to understand that now I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to find a good saved therapist. So we need to be working on how we can get more folks into that field, right? Because like what like come on, because it's necessary. Without someone who can identify with me, the whole me, right? You can't just say I'm a therapist and we're gonna sit down. You got to understand who I am. You got to understand how I move, the way that I move, and it may not work for some people. They may not understand it, so you can't give me the right advice.
Absolutely.
And the right direction. You got to be tapped for me. Okay. You got to be tapped in to the Holy Spirit, and you got to know some word.
Come on. You need some word.
You got to know some word, because you got to be able to tell me,
Being in the mental health field, so I've been in the field for over 10 years now. And when I say that I've experienced working with clients with a variety of different diagnoses, and just as a woman of God, I understand and know that I have to make sure that I'm equipped in a way, and I'm building up my spirit, man, so that I'm able to pour from that level, because you just don't know what your client had going on prior to that conversation. So being prepared and ready and intentional in that moment, because of course life happens with me too, right? I experience different things, but I can't allow myself to bring that into a session, right? Like if I'm carrying unforgiveness, if I'm carrying someone else's whatever traumas, and then come at me with a client, it's like I'm not being my authentic self. I can't be effective. I can't be efficient in my work. And so even as a therapist, like I was saying, I have to filter through my own stuff on a regular basis.
Man, this is just a bit of the process, right? We're going to keep talking about this. We're going to keep giving folks nuggets. So the first thing is being authentic.
Authentic.
Being authentic to how you're feeling.
Can I just make
Yes.
Just make a note?
Yes.
This is like something that I just truly believe, my own perspective. No one has truly met their most authentic self until they have begin that healing process. Then each level you will uncover a new dimension of who you are and who God called you to be, because you've been so covered with trauma and you don't even know what the true authentic version of you look like, act, and what they want to do in life, right? But when I tell you, when them layers start coming off and then your eyes start to be even more clear as to who it is that you are, trust me, it hit different.
It hits different.
That authenticity, it shines through differently.
It's different. And you come out lighter.
Come on now. Yes.
You come out lighter. Because you know what? People ask me, how are you able to smile? How are you able to laugh? I laugh all the time.
Me too.
Because that's medicine for the soul, first of all. And then second, because I started being authentic. Not to say that I wasn't before. It was, I wasn't understanding fully who I was. So I had to dig deeper and go through the process.
I literally told the Lord, this was like in 2017, 18. I sat down and I said in God's presence, I said, God, I want to be the most authentic version of Marika that you intended when you created me before I was even in my mother's womb, before trauma hit my life. At any point, I want to go back into that place that you predestined me to be. And when I tell you, I made that commitment, and I even went to therapy myself. I processed my stuff. And when I elevated, I saw my clients elevating. And I was able to hone in on their traumas faster than what I was when they was teaching me when I was in college. Not no shade on me going to school and getting my education, because I needed it. But when you elevate, you're able to bring other people with you. And you can identify the different areas in their life in that process in order to get them to the ultimate goal faster, because you already know the path. I'm done.
What? Can we get a Selah for that? Because what she said was a mouthful. You will be able to bring others higher because you went higher. Because you dealt with your trauma.
Come on.
Because you dealt with your unforgiveness. Because you dealt with you. Now you can show up better for other people. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Listen, I'm super excited. We got to bring this down. We gotta wrap up because we are at our time. I want to give you the opportunity to have your lunch, right? And I'm so grateful that you all came in on your lunch hour to be with us and to make sure that you are tapped in to managing your stress while you are forgiving. So a quick recap. 1, show up authentic. So that means say that how I'm feeling today. You know what I mean? Be true to yourself, and then it will help you with your process. And then start the process. So because it's a decision, right? We got to make that decision. So you have to figure out who you can connect with to help you walk through the process. So whether it's a therapist or a coach.
Because I'm both.
Because she's both, right? She's both, and she's able to weave in and out and help you not just get the mental, but your whole self. And so I'm gonna let her talk about that in just a second. But then the other piece is watch what you're thinking. Because we don't tell people what we're thinking. We think it, and then it gets into our hearts, and then we show up that way. So watch what you're thinking, because because you can't tell yourself, so I'm gonna say this real quick. Have you ever said to yourself, stop thinking that? Stop doing that. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But then in the next moment, what are you doing?
It's back again.
It's not what you're thinking, it's how you're seeing it. The heart has a separate language, and we got to speak it.
That's good.
So we have to rewrite what we're thinking in order for us to process out what we drew on our hearts.
That's good.
So I am hoping that this was impactful for you, because this podcast isn't to just, do a podcast, right? This is transformative. This is something that I'm dropping nuggets, and we're dropping nuggets to be able to share how we went from here to there, right? So I want you to tell people how they can follow, what you're doing, what you got coming up, and then we are going to be out.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Tantia, for having me on here. So
Absolutely.
again, my name is Marika King Ortiz. You can find me on Facebook, on IG, Marika KO. And today actually is my launch today for my coaching business. So I'm so excited. And it's my birthday.
Because it's her birthday.
So, yes, my coaching business is Influential Queen Suite. And
Ooh.
so it's everything luxury, everything high level for high level women. And yes, I'm going to bring in my therapeutic knowledge and experience into my coaching business. And I actually am launching my 5-day self-care challenge. It's free. And the link will be dropping at 3/28 because my birthday is 3/28. So stay tuned, keep a lookout, and I hope to see you in the challenge. Take care.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Y'all follow me on, we had a few hiccups today because the enemy didn't want you to get this information, but guess what? We did it anyway. So follow me on YouTube, The Freedom Hour. This will be uploaded to the platform and on Clubhouse, The Freedom Hour. And you can just make sure, and you can follow me on IG too, it's Shantia Lewis. Follow me so that you can get these nuggets because we're going to keep dropping content for you so that you can heal because we are healing mind, body, and soul this year because we can't go chasing the bag if we are not healed mind, body, and soul. So thank you all for joining me for this episode of the Freedom Hour, and we will see you on the next go round. Jesus in therapy has set me free. Jesus in therapy. Oh, Jesus in therapy. Is that what you need? Is Jesus.